Yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, making you more informed as a consumer. We got Tom Rydberg back in studio, DK Mortgage in the house. Alex Lima, we're going to talk with Alex as well, self-defense expert, black belt, fitness and martial arts, about that stabbing death in San Francisco. Shane Socash as well, David Reynolds, jewelry and coin. Going to talk about the economy, alternative investment opportunities, as well as Breitbart has a new information here. Claims for unemployment benefits hit 228,000 in the week ending in April 1st. So we're going to talk about that and more coming up on the program. We always like to feature our real estate listings. One of our strategies to help sellers sell faster for more money is featuring the listings live on air and, of course, doing all the traditional and basic marketing that our competitors offer, but we're adding a tremendous amount of extra value through our syndications with radio, TV, and internet marketing. 14 Baywood Drive in Palm Harbor. This is one of my favorite listings right now. This is a beautiful home in Palm Harbor. You've got bay access with a private boat ramp in this waterfront community. 14 Baywood Drive, Palm Harbor. Beautiful home, stunning layout and open floor plan, 2,913 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, completely remodeled 3-story home. You got a wood-burning fireplace in the living room, vaulted ceilings, and it just feels so spacious inside this home. You've got a private pool with a screened-in porch and a private backyard, fenced-in yard as well. Waterfront community, 14 Baywood Drive, Palm Harbor, Florida. And that's beautiful, Pinellas County. Also, 3058 Mildred Drive in Palm Harbor. Another waterfront home from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. This one's 1,380 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, located on a spacious corner lot. Open concept kitchen with granite countertops, wood accent walls, screened-in patio with pool, backyard dock on the canal leading out to Lake Tarpon. Lake Tarpon is 2,500 acres. It's a huge lake, lots of great fishing and recreation to be had. You can cruise on down to the restaurant on the lake as well. That's the Tarpon Turtle. 3058 Mildred Drive, Palm Harbor. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, quick shout out to our friends at Discovery Golf Cars, longtime friends of the program. Discovery Golf Cars, if you're thinking about buying a golf cart, reach out to the folks at discoverygolfcars.com. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. They've got the Easy Go, the Star, the Cushman. They got recreational vehicles as well as new or pre-owned. And you can check them out online, discoverygolfcars.com. Make sure you let them know you heard about them right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. All right, Tom Rydberg, welcome back, sir.
Hey, good to be back. Good to see you.
Awesome. Good to have you in. DK Mortgage, we always talk about supporting the local economy by supporting the local lender of choice right here in Tampa Bay. And today we wanted to talk a little bit about some of these different types of loans. So we're talking about non-U.S. citizen programs.
Yeah, this comes up quite a bit on a lot of different levels, depending on, I guess, where you're at in the country. But here in Florida, you see a variety of situations. You see international buyers, whether they're Canadian, European, even South America. Those can be very challenging for a variety of reasons. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, they don't really have an outlet for those buyers. But you do have alternative loan programs, call them not subprime, but alternative, Alt-A portfolio programs.
Right.
Larger down payment, a lot more hoops to jump through. But there are outlets. So the more common scenarios that we run into are going to be people that are here, resident aliens. So they've applied for citizenship. They're on a green card. They really have complete access to all the same programs a U.S. citizen would have. And that includes FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. So same down payments, same first-time homebuyer programs. You get into some more gray areas where you have people that are here on work visas. Now, there's a variety of different visas. Typically, the one that allows you to get financing would be a work visa. So you have a sponsored employer. That expiration is not imminent, or it's already been. You can provide paperwork that it's going to continue. You have Fannie Mae has a lot of good programs available for those, and then you have the subject that's kind of bounced around the last few years are the I-10 or the Dreamer program. Yeah. People that are here legally, they don't have a social security number, but they've been filing taxes on an I-10. They have US credit. They have a down payment. Fannie Mae has lots of programs that allow them to purchase and get a great loan program, great interest rate, et cetera. So I think there's a lot of confusion about that. As we always talk about, planning ahead helps alleviate some of those issues, especially if you have income in another country. You want to set up a U.S. bank account, get those funds over here. If you don't have U.S. credit, get some secured credit cards, some alternative credit for people that are here using an ITIN, or they're applied for residency but haven't received it yet. They can use rental verification of rent through like cancel checks, maybe utility bills, but planning ahead is key.
Yeah, and you can get that credit card, as you mentioned, and stuff that you're going to buy anyways, gasoline, groceries, charge it on the card, pay it down at the end of the month, not all the way off, right? Because the credit card companies look at that as kind of, extreme, I guess, for lack of a better word. But, if you're building up credit, you want to charge that card up to $1,300, $1,500, whatever that is, and then pay it down to about like 25%, is it, Tom? 30% roughly?
Yeah, roughly. There's a lot of different models depending on how many credit cards you have. Here's the other part that people don't like. I've just started doing because I use my credit card a lot.
Yep. And
even if you pay that account off every month, depending on when they report to the bureaus, it's still going to show a balance.
Okay.
So with my phone app, most of the credit cards have, I can log in there and I can pay a couple times during the month just to keep that balance at a reasonable level.
Right. Because that's what they want to see. They want to see it at that certain level.
And they want to see activity too. So now here's the tricky part. Let's say you're working on your credit, you want to buy a house, you have, I'll make up a number. Let's say you're at a 680 credit score, and you have 2 or 3 credit accounts already open. So you're making some progress. Instinct would be, well, I'm going to open up another account. And that may help you 6 to 12 months down the road, but in the next 30 to 60 days, it could actually hurt you. So be a little careful when you're opening up accounts based on the timing you're looking to apply.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're talking with Tom Rydberg here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. He's our mortgage expert contributor. He's our go-to guy for all things finance here, especially residential properties. DK Mortgage in the house. Tom, one of the questions that I kind of think about, because I don't deal with this all the time as far as these loan types, non-U.S. citizen loans. When people come to they apply for a visa or they apply for these different work programs, is it part of the program where they are incentivized to invest in Florida real estate or United States real estate? Is that part of the plan?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, usually, so a work visa is specifically that the U.S. they're trying to attract foreigners,
especially tech skilled.
Tech.
Yeah.
You see that a lot of tech, medical as well. So they're trying to bring them over. I think the incentive is, that job that they're making a lot more money in those fields in the U.S. than other parts of the world. I don't know of anything. I mean, there's been talk, during the Great Recession back in the 2007, 2009. That generally there was talk about incentivizing non-U.S. citizens, people that were struggling to get citizenship, say, okay, buy a house,
right?
We'll fast track you to citizenship. I haven't heard anything like that since.
Well, that's the reason I asked, because I remember years ago I went on this cruise. It was kind of a mastermind type cruise, different people that had written books or speakers, those types of folks. And then, but they were talking about being able to get a secondary visa through, like, as a backup, through the U.S. Virgin Islands or the British Virgin Islands. And it was I think it was like St. Kitts down there.
Yep.
But in order to do that, part of it was they wanted you to invest $500,000 to buy land or, to bring money to their country. So that's why I asked that question.
So, that sounds logical, and I have heard bits and pieces. I'm just not that well versed on that subject. And I would definitely think that maybe other countries are going to incentivize people to bring money. I don't know if the U.S. is specifically, but that's a good question. I wish I knew more about it.
Yeah, I mean, some people are thinking, hey, maybe it's a good idea to get a second. Of course, it's nice to have unlimited resources to do these things, right?
Sure.
But yeah, to get a second passport, because you look at the way that the U.S. is targeting certain people, IRS, DOJ, different things. Oh, we're going to pull your passport. You can't travel now. Oh, that's okay. I got a British passport too.
Right.
You say that was the idea there. So Tom Rydberg here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let's see. I want to take it to this story here. So I pulled this about the economy from Breitbart. It says Breitbart News. Claims for unemployment benefits hit 228,000 in the week ending April 1 and the previous week's claims were revised up sharply, a sign that the Federal Reserve's monetary tightening may be beginning to soften demand for labor. Okay. Yep. Last week's claims would have been the highest of the year, except for the weeks prior were revised up from 198 to 246,000, and that makes April 1 claims the second highest of the year. This was more than expected. Economists had forecasted claims would rise from 201,000 from the preliminary estimate. The week prior, claims had been below 200,000 for most of the year. So how do you read into that?
Well, we could talk for an hour on this subject. So a couple of things. The other part of that report that's interesting is wage inflation is decelerating. So I think wages are still up for continuing employment, like if you stay with the same job, but it's accelerating at a lower pace, and people that are moving jobs, right, to get a better job or assumably more income, that's decreasing as well. But the real problem is, so ADP comes out with a report on Wednesdays, and then you have the government report comes out the same week on a Friday. And what's historically, everyone put a lot more emphasis on the government report up until maybe a year ago, 6 months ago, when people started questioning, because ADP was considered less reliable, but they changed the way they were doing the report. I don't know all the specifics of what they changed, but they changed that maybe a year ago. And it's becoming more and more reliable. And now I feel like people are looking at that instead of the government, because there's no manipulation.
Exactly.
A number's a number. That's the part where I think those revisions were whoever was coming up with those reports, because they're data points. I'm envisioning an Excel spreadsheet. So what would have changed except that they're manipulating it?
Yeah, exactly. And that goes to the distrust, right?
Correct.
I think we're going to the distrust of these numbers. Can you really believe what comes out of the Labor Department? And can you believe, going to the CDC, right? What does this big pharma have influence on the CDC? Of course they do, right? Yeah. So then it goes into the labor pool, and then how they also redefine what a recession is. Right. When we had that recessionary, activity, and it was supposedly transitory, which was not transitory, the inflation.
Yeah, that one doesn't bother me as much because there was so much going on with inventories. And you're talking about like last year, right?
Probably like 3 quarters ago, right?
Correct. Yep. Because there was people were hoarding goods, and so I get that they were a little bit slow to call that a recession, because historically they don't call recessions officially for a couple of years afterwards, right? They look back on it. But this is real data. So I'm a lot more irritated and frustrated with these jobs reports, because I don't understand why they're so hard to get. They're so far off from the consensus, because it's not like, when they come in high or low, they've been off like 10 months in a row. Yeah. Significantly.
Absolutely. I want to talk about rent versus own as well, Tom. When you look at people that are paying rent, they're in a situation where they're definitely paying more than they could own for. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, rent versus own, we're going to dive into that topic, and maybe let's talk about investors as well. What kind of opportunities are there for investors? A lot of people are loving the opportunity of buying real estate. It's kind of a safe haven away from this banking industry that seems to be, hey, what's going on with my funds if they're in certain banks? But people are leaning on real estate heavy right now, I believe, for that investment side. Tom Rydberg here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Taking a quick break here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back. Make sure you check out consumerqb.com.
Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. We always like to feature our real estate listings as part of our strategy to maximize the exposure and help sellers sell faster for more money, reaching thousands of people daily on our syndicated talk show that's on air 6 days a week. We're on Sundays on 102.5 The Bone, daily here, 860 The Answer, 93.7 FM, also Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku. And check out our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. We got over 2,000 videos on the YouTube channel, getting a lot more views. So we're real excited about that. 16400 Gulf Boulevard, North Reddington Beach. This is a great opportunity to own that beachfront condo. Your home away from home. 16400 Gulf Boulevard, North Reddington Beach, 400 square foot condo. You have a ceramic tile floor, oceanfront property, covered balcony, and the beautiful view. I just love this balcony view overlooking the pool and the beautiful beaches of North Reddington and Pinellas County, the dolphin-filled water, sugar sand beaches right here in Tampa Bay. One of our hot real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 1641 Altair Trail in Clearwater. This is a great home, completely renovated and recently updated. 2555 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. You got a completely updated home, new quartz countertops, open floor plan, vaulted ceilings, screen lanai with built-in hot tub, large, fully fenced backyard. 1641 Altair Trail in Clearwater. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we got Tom Rydberg in studio, DK Mortgage in the house, talking about all things real estate related, finance related. Tom, talk to me about this rent versus own. A lot of people, if they're in that position where they're renting, I really feel for them, especially over these last few years.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's been tough, and you really don't a lot of times have control over your life and your future because so many landlords, their rents are going up and up, or maybe they decide they want to sell and you're left scrambling trying to figure out what you're going to do. So besides all the financial benefits of owning over a long period of time, just a lifestyle. So I encourage anyone who's been kind of stuck maybe renting, not sure where to start. It's not as complicated as people think. I think starting early, and it can be a simple phone call to review their credit, see what options are out there, kind of work on a budget. The biggest obstacle is still down payment, but the state of Florida has many, many programs out there to help. Whether you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer. You could be somebody that's owned in the past, and maybe you're transitioning here from another part of the country and you want to get back in, but you don't have any money really, or significant amount of money to set aside for a down payment. So there's some help.
Yeah, absolutely. Rent versus own analysis. Reach out to the hotline, 727-263-3707. Call or text the hotline if you'd like that rent versus own analysis. Tom will break down the numbers for you side by side on the spreadsheet. 727-263-3707. It'll say, hey, on this side, this is what I'm paying in rent. This is what I could own for. This is what I could be building up equity into my future. And, of course, when you're owning versus renting, you can kind of get away with maybe throwing some cool parties, Tom,
Absolutely.
Right? Not get in trouble, right?
Well, you have a lot of business owners that listen, and I think it's really important for business owners to understand. They probably know, home ownership, for employees is really important. So you're hearing more and more businesses that are really participating in that process. And I know your team does it, and I do it. If there are business owners out there that want us to come talk to them and kind of, because homeowners are better employees than people that are renters.
Right.
It's just statistically, they're better performers. They stay with the company longer. They feel part of that community, and that makes for a better employee. So I think that gets overlooked. If you want to invest in your employees, help them become homeowners, and we can help, show them how to do that.
Absolutely, and they'll recognize that and they'll remember that as well.
Oh, for sure.
When it comes to that loyalty basis, it's kind of, when you think about renting versus owning, it's also the tragedy of the commons. To kind of go on a little bit of a figurative speeching thing. When you have that lack of ownership, you have less commitment to the neighborhood. You may have trash on the corners and people not really taking care. And it's kind of similar to what we talk about with these Airbnb properties, these VRBOs, right? Those people are in town, they're on spring break, they're partying, they're not so worried about cleaning up and they're parking all over the neighborhoods, right? So you got that same type of mentality. Whereas if you own the property, you're going to take great pride in it. You're going to be weeding the flower beds on the weekend. You're going to care about it more. You might buy some mulch. Let's increase our curve appeal. I love this home, right? I'm going to water. I'm going to make sure the grass is watered. It's green. Whereas the other side you may not.
Well, a lot of times people think, well, I can't afford to own a home. They look at their budget, what they're spending on rent. But I don't know what happens, but something happens when you own a property that becomes a part of you, and you find ways to sacrifice maybe money you'd spend on vacation or on social, instead of going out, to bars and restaurants with your friends, all of a sudden you're having barbecues and,
exactly,
you're cooking steaks and stuff on the grill.
That home ownership pride.
Yeah. Really.
Just last weekend, Lindsay and I were out there planting some shrubs in our backyard. We found some that she liked. They went on sale, and we bought like 20 of them or whatever. I'm out there with a shovel on the weekend. But I think it's getting your hands in the dirt, right?
For sure.
Barefoot in the grass. You got your feet in the sod. There's that connection to God, that connection to nature that happens, and you just have that ownership pride that comes out. Not to mention your pocketbook is going to look better. Yeah. Your checkbook's looking better. Your tax returns are going to look stronger.
Yeah, and you can't always quantify it, but you hit it right there. There's just something about, who would think that planting, doing gardening for a couple hours on a warm weekend would give you such pride, but it does.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I got nice and hot and sweaty, and it was my first dive into the pool. Yeah. Because the water finally got to a point where it's tolerable. Especially because it was hotter out.
Right.
But I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to like cold water. But I did it, and it felt great. Jumping out,
fun.
Going back to work. So, Tom, how do folks connect with you, my friend?
Best ways, email, closefaster@gmail.com. But you can call. I mean, I'm available on the weekends. I know that the show airs on weekends and different times. So I don't care. 630-550-2656. Pretty good about 630-550-2656. If you get the voicemail, leave a message. I'll call you back within a couple minutes.
Closefaster@gmail. Real quick and easy right there. Yep. Good stuff, Tom. Appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, always good.
Awesome. Well, hey, great conversation there around non-United States loans, work visas, different foreign national programs with Tom Rydberg, rent versus own analysis as well. Reach out to the hotline, 727-263-3707. That's a 727-263-3707. Call or text that line. Also online at consumerqb.com. Consumerqb.com. All right, taking a quick break. We got Alex Lima, black belt fitness and martial arts. We're going to talk self-defense, martial arts, and that stabbing death that happened in San Francisco, and maybe how you can avoid that. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch.